Hi everyone, welcome to the OneClass channel. My name is Marlyn. I'm a second-year chemical physics student at the University of Waterloo studying chemical physics and a minor in math. I'm going to be helping you through some algebra problems today. Be sure to check out the link in the description if you're in need of any extra help. Okay, let's get started. Okay, so we want to, of course, solve this for x. So we have So we're going to leave this as it is, and we want to write this as 1 log 5 something, so that we can have 2 is equal to whatever that something is. So we're going to be using some log properties. So let's start with the log property of log a b to the x is equal to x log a b, and we're going to use that here. And so we have log 5x minus 3 squared minus log 5, 8 is equal to log 5, 2. Next up, we're going to use the property that log a m over n is the same thing as log a m minus log a n. And we're going to be using it, of course, on these two. So that would become log 5 x minus 3 squared over 8 is equal to log 5, 2, which means these two arguments must be equal. And so that means x minus 3 squared over 8 is equal to 2. Let's just bring that right on over. So that is going to be equal to 16, and we're going to take the square root to get rid of that square. So we get x minus 3 is equal to plus or minus 4. But we need to remember that the argument within the log can never be negative, which means that x minus 3 can't be negative 4, which means x plus 3 can only be equal to positive 4. And then we just solve for x, and we get x is equal to 4 plus 3, and that's going to give us 7. And that's our final answer. On to the next question. So next up, we want to solve for w, where u is equal to 1, negative 1. It's having an issue displaying that. 1, v is equal to negative 1, 0, 2, 3. And so we have the equation 4w is equal to u minus 5v, which is 1, negative 1, 0, 1. 5v, let's just write out 5v over here. Negative 5, 0, 10, 15. So minus negative 5, 0, 10, 15. So this is equal to 4w. And this is going to give us 1 minus 5, which is going to give us 6. Negative 1 minus 0, negative 1. 0 minus 10, negative 10. 1 minus 15, negative 14, is equal to 4w, which means w is equal to this over 4. Just give me one moment. Okay, let's jump back into it. So when we divide all of this by 4, we get W is equal to 6 over 4, which is the same thing as 3 over 2, negative 1 over 4. Negative 10 over 4 is the same thing as negative 5 over 2. Negative 14 over 4 is the same thing as negative 7 over 2. And this is our final answer. Okay, next up, we want to factor completely x cubed plus 1, and we are going to use the addition of cube equations. So let's just write down those, which are a cubed plus b cubed will give us a plus b into a squared minus ab plus b squared. A cubed minus b cubed is equal to a minus b a squared plus ab plus b squared. So just remember, if it's negative here, it will be negative here, and the opposite sign here, it'll always be plus b squared. If it's positive here, it's going to be positive here too, and the opposite sign here, always plus b squared. And so, in our equation, we have x cubed plus 1, which is equal to x plus 1 cubed. So we'll be using equation 1. And so a equals x and b equals 1. So let's just plug those in. So we get x plus 1, x squared minus x by 1 plus 1 squared. We get x plus 1 into x squared minus x plus 1. And that's our final answer. On to the next question. So we want to evaluate log 327 is equal to x, so trying to find x. And we need to remember how to write this in exponential form. So when we have log a, b is equal to x, in exponential form, that is a to the x is equal to b. So for log 327 is equal to x, that will become 3 to the power of x is equal to 27. And we know 3 squared is equal to 9, and by 3, that is equal to 27, which means that this is 3 cubed. So this can only mean that x is equal to 3. Sorry about that. Next, we want to, so again, we're going to be using basically the same rules, but instead we have log 981. So keeping the same general equation in mind, we have log 981 is equal to x. So using this in exponential form, that means 9 to the x is equal to 81. And we know for a fact that 9 squared is equal to 81. And so x must be equal to 2. And that is our final answer. On to our next question. We want to fill in the blanks. And we're going to be using logarithm properties. So first we have the logarithm of a product of two numbers is the same as the dash of the logarithms of these numbers. Okay, so we need to remember the property that log a m times n is equal to log a m plus log a n. And if we write this out, that just means if we have log a m times n is equal to x, that means a to the x is equal to m times n. Log a m is equal to x, we have a to the x is equal to m, and log a n equals to x, a to the x is equal to n. So that means that for what they've given us, the logarithm of a product of two numbers is the same as the sum of those same two numbers. And so if we have log 3, 9 times 27 is the same thing as log 3, 9 plus log 3, 27. Okay, and this is for A. For B, the logarithm of a quotient of two numbers is the same as the dash of the logarithms of these numbers. For that, we will be using the property that log A of m over n is equal to log a m minus log a n, which means that the logarithm of a quotient of two numbers is the same as the difference of the logarithms of these numbers. So that means that log 4 16 over 64 is equal to log 4 16 minus log 4 64. So 64 is our n, 4 is a, 16 is m. Next up, the logarithm of a number raised to a power is the same as the dash times the logarithm of the number. So for that, we need to remember the property of log a of b to the power of c is the same thing as c log a b. So that means that the answer is product. So log 4 16 to the power of 14 is equal to 14 times log 4 16. And that's our final answer. So the answers are sum, difference, product, log 327, log 464, and log 416. Okay, next up, again, we have a logarithm. And we seek to evaluate log 4 . So we wish to find x, and we need to remember the property that I listed at the beginning, which is log base a of b is equal to c. In exponential form is a to the power of c is equal to b. So with log 64 is equal to x, that means 4 to the power of x is equal to 64. We know 4 squared is equal to 16, and this by 4 is equal to our 64. So this is 4 cubed, which means x is equal to 3. Okay, we want to find which of the following expressions are equivalent to log 16 and select all that apply. So this could be none, all, some, or one. Let's evaluate all of them. So for A, we need to remember that log is equal to log base A m plus log base A n. And so this means that log 16 plus log 0 is equal to log 16 times 0, which is equal to log 0, which is obviously not equal to log 16. So A is clearly not the answer. Next up, log 8 plus log 2 is equal to, we're going to be using the same rule. So log 8 times 2, which is equal to log 16. So B is a valid answer. Let's continue to see if there are any more. So for C, we're going to be using the exponent rule, which states that log A m to the power of n is equal to n log A m. And so here we're given 4 log 2 is the same thing as log 2 raised to the power of 4. And this is going to give us log 16. So C is also a valid answer. On to D. D is we're going to be using the same rule, and which means 2 log 4 is equal to log 4 raised to the power of 2, and this is obviously equal to log 16. If there's no base, it automatically means log to the base of 10, because that is what is programmed into most calculators. So all of these are to the base of 10. So D is also a valid answer. And lastly, we have, that's supposed to be a minus sign, so we have log 20 minus log 4 is equal to, and for this we will be using the rule that log a to the base of a of m minus log to the base of a of n is equal to log to the base of a of m over n. So for this, that means 20 over 4. And this is equal to log 5, which is obviously not equal to log 16. So our valid answers are B, C, and D. Okay, so we want to know how to factor x squared plus 4. We already know that this does not have any real valued solutions because of the fact that, similar to how for x cubed plus b cubed, we know what it is. For x cubed minus b cubed, we also have a simplification. And for x squared minus b squared, we have a simplification. But for x squared plus b squared, we have no real valued simplification, which means that this obviously is complex valued, and we can find it using the quadratic formula. So let's just write that down here. So negative b plus or minus b squared minus 4ac over 2a. We know that a is equal to 1, b is equal to 0, c is equal to 4. So this becomes negative 0 plus or minus the root of 0 minus 4, 1 by 4, all over 2. And this becomes root negative 16 over 2. Let's pull out the 16. 4 root negative 1 over 2. You need to remember this is plus or minus. Plus, minus. So this becomes plus or minus 4i over 2. And so our answer is plus or minus 2i, which means that we have x plus 2i and x minus 2i. If you want to double check, just in case you're not too strong with your complex numbers, you can just use FOIL to expand it back out. So x by x by 2i, 2i by x, 2i by 2i. So x squared minus 2xi plus 2xi plus 2i squared. These two cancel. X squared plus 4i squared, and keeping in mind that I is equal to root negative 1, I squared is equal to negative 1. So it becomes, 2i by negative 2i. Slight error here. This is supposed to be negative 2i squared. So is this. So it becomes x squared negative 1 by negative 1 is plus, so plus 4, which is exactly what we were looking for. Okay, on to our next question. How to express the logarithmic equations in their respective exponential form. So again, let's write it out. That log a b is equal to c in exponential form is a to the power c is equal to b. So for a, log base 6, so a is 6, z, so z is b, is equal to 1 is the same thing as 6 to the power of 1 is equal to z. For our next one, we have log 10, 3 is equal to 2t, which means 10 to the power of 2t is equal to 3. All of these are just so that you can have ways of solving logarithmic equations without using a calculator. And so in this case, I would like it in exponential form in order to solve for z. In this case, I would like it in logarithmic form in order to find what this is, in order for us to get 2t by dividing it by 2. So you just plug this into your calculator and divide it by 2 in order to solve for t. And you get a value of, let's see, should give you 0.239. It may be tempting to always solve for the variable, but always remember what the question is asking you for. Okay, on to our next question. And we want to evaluate the logarithmic equation log 3 1 over 81. So we can do this easily without a calculator by just writing it in exponential form. So again, remember, log a b is equal to c is the same thing as a to the power of c equals b. So for x is equal to log 3 1 over 81. This means 3 to the power of x is equal to 1 over 81. So we know 81 is equal to 9 squared, which is 3 squared squared, which is 3 to the power of 4, which means 1 over 81 is equal to 1 over 3 to the power of 4, which is 3 to the power of negative 4. So this means that x must be equal to negative 4. Okay, next up, we would like to solve we'd like to factor a difference of cubes, and we just need to remember that a cubed minus b cubed is equal to a minus b, a squared plus ab plus b squared. So in this case, x cubed minus 1 is equal to x cubed minus 1 cubed. So a equals x and b equals 1. So let's just plug those back into the equation that we know, and we get x minus 1. Alright, x cubed minus 1 is equal to x minus 1 into x squared plus x by 1 plus 1 squared. And that is x minus 1 into x squared plus x plus 1. And that's it. Next up, we would like to find the absolute value of 4 plus 3i. You need to remember that the absolute value of a plus bi is equal to the root of a squared plus b squared. So in this case, a is equal to 4, and b is equal to 3. So 4 plus 3i is equal, the magnitude of 4 plus 3i is equal to the magnitude of 4, is equal to the square root of 4 squared plus 3 squared. And this is going to give us 16 plus 9, which of course is root 25, which is equal to 5. So this is our final answer. Okay, on to our next question. We would like to solve a is equal to 1 over 2 bh. Solve for h. So because it's all multiplication, you can, this is division, multiplication, so let's multiply both sides by 2 first. So 2a is equal to, if you multiply this by 2, they both cancel, bh, and then divide out b on both sides. In order to isolate h, and we get h is equal to 2a over b. And that is our final answer. Okay, so you can do this in multiple ways. Let's first use the one that's displayed here. So we have 4x squared is equal to 64. Let's divide out the 4. So x squared is equal to 64 over 4, that's 16. Square root both sides, and we get x is equal to plus or minus 4. Additionally, you could have 4x squared is equal to 64. Bring the 64 over. Divide out the 4. So bring out the 4, my apologies. So 4x squared minus 16 is equal to 0. And this is a difference of squares, so we need to remember that a squared minus b squared is equal to a plus b, a minus b. And so in this case, a is equal to x, b is equal to the root of 16, and that's going to be 4. And so it becomes 4x plus 4, x minus 4. And the solutions of this are, of course, x is equal to positive or negative 4. They're just different ways to play with the equation, but you should get the same answer. Okay. What number would you add to both sides of x squared minus 20x is equal to 5 to complete the square? And so let's just write that out. And so we want this in a form of x plus a squared is equal to 5 plus something, right? And so if we have x plus a squared, you would get x squared plus 2ax plus a squared. So we have the x squared, and that means 2ax must be negative 20x, which means negative 20 is equal to 2a. Divide out the 2. A is equal to negative 10, and that means that a squared is equal to 100. So this means x squared minus 20x is equal to x minus 10 squared minus 100, and this is going to be 5, right? And so we're just going to bring this 100 over here. and it becomes x minus 10 squared is equal to 5 plus 100. So the number we're adding here is clearly 100. And so x, sorry, 05. And that's it. So if you add 100 to both sides, this would cancel, leaving x squared minus 20x, and you get 5 plus 100, which is 105. Okay, on to the next question. What are the solutions to the following system of equations? And you're given a multiple choice answer. So the two equations we have are y is equal to x squared plus 12x plus 30, and 8x minus y is equal to 10. So let's isolate for y on both sides so we can equate the two. So bring this y over here, bring the 10 over here, and we get y is equal to x squared plus 12x plus 30, and y is equal to 8x minus 10, which means these two must be equal. So x squared plus 12x plus 30 is equal to 8x minus 10. And so let's just bring everything on over. And so you get x squared plus 12x minus 8x plus 30 plus 10 is equal to 0. So x squared plus 4x plus 40 is equal to 0. And now we just want to find the zeros of this equation. And then we plug in those x values into either one of the y equations and solve for y. So we have x squared plus 4x plus 40 is equal to 0. We're just going to use the quadratic formula again. So a equals 1, b equals 4, c equals 40. So this will give us negative 4 plus or minus the root of 16 minus 4, 1 by 40 over 2. And this gives us negative 4 plus or minus, just one moment, let me plug that into my calculator. Root negative 144 over 2. So from this, you can actually answer the question. The discriminant is less than 0, which means we have two complex valued solutions for x, which means that y is most likely complex 2. And so we don't have any real solutions clearly, but let's go on to solve it. And so this will give us negative 4 plus or minus 12i over 2, which is equal to negative 2 plus or minus 6i. Those are x values. So for x1, which is equal to negative 2 plus 6i, y1 would be equal to 8, negative 2 plus 6i minus 10. So negative 16 plus 8 by 6, so that's going to give us 48i I minus 10, and that is 48I minus 26, for x2, which is equal to negative 2, x2, which is equal to negative 2 minus 6I. Again, plug it right in. So y2 is equal to 8, negative 2 minus 6I minus 10. That becomes negative 16 minus 48I minus 10, which is negative 48I minus 26. So both of them are complex valued, so the answer is D, no real solutions. And that's our final answer. On to the next question. So we would like to factor the equation x squared minus 5x plus 6, and we're going to do this using a method called grouping, and we want to write it in a form that is ax squared plus dx plus ex plus c is equal to 0. And we want AC to be equal to DE. Now, similar to how you have FOIL being the shortcut version of, or the easier way to remember how to multiply out two brackets, the easier way to remember this is product sum, and you want the product to be equal to AC and the sum to be equal to B. So that means we want two numbers whose product will give us 6 and the sum will give us negative 5. This is easy to find. We have negative 3 and negative 2. So already I can tell that the equation will look like this. If you want to continue out with this method, we would get x squared minus 2x minus 3x plus 6. So AC is equal to DE. So 1 by negative 3 is equal to, 1 by 6 is equal to negative 2 by negative 3. And so then we factor that and we get x minus 2 minus 3 into x minus 2. And of course, that can be written out like this. And that's it, exactly as we predicted with product sum. Product sum is great if the solutions are real valued and they're integers. If they're not, and you can't easily think of the number that would fulfill product sum, just jump straight into the quadratic formula. If all else failed, use the quadratic formula, always. Okay, next up, we would like to expand the expression 3x plus 2y squared. And we need to remember FOIL, which basically states that a plus b squared is equal to a squared plus 2ab plus b squared. Alternatively, you can write 3x plus 2y plus 2y, 3x plus 2y, or you can write it out like this. So 3x by 3x plus 3x by 2y plus 2y by 3x plus 2y by 2y, which is exactly what is in this equation and exactly what is summarized by this equation. So they're all just multiple ways of remembering how to do the same thing. And so let's use this equation. And so a is equal to 3x, b is equal to 2y. Just plug those right back in. So 3x squared plus 2 into 3x, 2y plus 2y squared. And that becomes 9x squared plus 2 by 2 by 3. So 12xy plus 4y squared. You would have gotten the same answer had you used this or this. So 3x by 3x, 3x squared. 3x by 2y plus 2y by 3x, so 2 by 3x by 2y, because you're doing it 2 times, plus 2y by 2y, 2y squared. Alternatively, 3x by 3x plus 3x by 2y plus 2y by 3x, so 2 by 3x by 2y plus 2y squared. They're all going to give you the same answer. Okay, on to our last problem. And we want to simplify x plus 6 squared. So again, remember FOIL. Okay, so I'm going to use FOIL. So a is equal to x and b is equal to 6. Plug those right back in. X squared plus 2 x by 6 plus 6 squared is going to give us x squared plus 12x plus 36. And this is the final form. Okay, and that is all I have for you today. I hope you enjoyed the content that I had for you. If you're in need of any extra help, be sure to check out the links in the description or visit the OneClass channel. There are a lot of resources that can help you on there, be it math, chemistry, finance, anything. And be sure to continue checking out the OneClass YouTube channel. This is Marlyn from OneClass, and I hope to be seeing you next time.